recording. Okay, I'm now recording, guys. Hi, nice to see you. So for everybody who is brand new, it's going to feel like a lot. Please, please, please do not let that overwhelm you, okay? Embrace as much of it as you can. You have decided to, embark on this journey for a reason. You should have your financial goals clearly written out with a time frame and, having daily targets that you need to achieve in order to get there. The only thing that stops you from achieving the things in your life is not anybody else. It is you, okay? I promise you. You can get through anything. You will still always go to sleep, right? Make sure that you stick to your routine, whatever it is that works for you, and find a way to maintain your education with this thing. And if you're finding that difficult, reach out to people, reach out to your mentor, reach out to, the people in your group. Everyone wants to help you. You've got learning groups and support groups for a reason, yeah? So, in this Forex Basics session, I like to do the hand holding in the very beginning. So feel free to ask me any questions as we go along, because I'm going to really break things down for everybody. Today, we're going to be doing a lot of looking at charts. I'm going to show you how to actually properly look at a chart and how to do some very general markups and things like that. Hopefully that sounds good with you guys, but let's go over the general Forex Basics stuff before we jump into that. Is everyone with me? Throw something into the chat box if you are with me right now. Who's with me? Throw some emojis in there, some flames or your favorite emoji. Amazing. Thanks, Sandra. Thanks, T. Richard's here. Nice to see you. Okay, cool, cool, cool. You guys are with me. I feel ya. We're bringing the energy tonight, guys. Thursday is the best. It's my favorite day. And also tomorrow, Friday is also my favorite day because we also get to trade. I mean, it's just the best. Okay, so for those of you who are brand spanking new and you don't know who I am, sorry to everyone who's heard this spiel 1,000 times, but it is, context is important. So my name's Jessica, I'm 25, and first and foremost, my first love and the reason why I started this journey was because of my dance career. I want to be a choreographer working for the rest of my life, but I know that it's not necessarily going to pay for my kids or my car. So I had to come up with, a way to pay for the rest of my lifestyle, right? So I've always been a bit of a hustler. So I've been doing Afro hair YouTube for like 6 years. That got me throughout uni. And since finishing my master's degree, I've been a teacher and lecturer, I still do, in contemporary dance performance. I'm also a performing stunt artist. So you might have seen me in some TV shows or some films. Throughout all this time, I've been a digital marketing strategist because Instagram is #life. Am I right or am I right? And because of all of these hustles, I was able to buy my first property last year. So I was 24. And when I bought my house, which is this, I'm in London, I was also made redundant. So I'd just gotten a mortgage. And then that same week, I had also then lost my job. So I was definitely coming from a place of desperation. And I know a lot of us were in a situation, especially right now, where we need money now. I feel you. I relate to you. I've been there. Okay, and it is possible because when trading, when I discovered it and I discovered this organization, it was like a gift from God, okay? And, I'm not even religious and I was praying for something to come and save me. People are praying for an opportunity to change their lives. And then when they see an opportunity like this come by, they say, no, that's too expensive. Or they say, no, I don't have time. So the fact that you guys are even here on this call means that you've taken the step to just absolutely change your life. And so you're very, very brave because a lot of people would not make that choice. Do you see what I mean? So if you feel like trading might not be for you, coming from a penniless dancer, right, who's definitely not mathsy at all, I promise you, you got this, you can do this. And I'm going to make sure that we get there, okay? You're going to pay those bills, I promise. So a lot of us also try to engage in Forex, and half the time, a lot of people don't actually know what it even means. So Forex literally means foreign exchange. It's just the two words put together, and it's an international financial market that is open 24 hours a day, 5 days a week. So no, we do not work on the weekends, thumbs up. But every single day, there are $6.6 trillion that are passing hands, mostly between the banks. $6.6 trillion. So there's definitely enough space. There's money to go around. Everyone's going to eat, okay? It's just knowing how to access that money that's passing hands, okay? And what we learn in this academy and in all our Zoom calls is how to do this in a really safe, smart and sophisticated way so that we can act like our own bank account. So I can promise you now that I don't really keep any of my, well, I keep a little bit because, you know, but I don't keep the majority of my money in my bank account anymore. When lockdown started, I got a letter from Santander saying that my interest rate has gone down to 0.1%. Yeah, so that means that if I had £1,000 in that bank account, at the end of the year, that money would have made for me £1, right? So if you had £10,000 in that bank account, how much money would your money have made for you? £10, right? It just does not make sense when the banks every single day are day trading our money. That's how they're making it. That's how $6.6 trillion is passing hands every day. It's because they're trading with our money. And that little bit of interest we see, that's the commission that we get on them playing with our money. Do you see what I mean? Kind of scary if you think about it. It's exactly the same with ISAs. It's the same with your retirement. Did you know that? They are day trading with your retirement money. And this is why it's really important that we just become a little bit more financially literate so that we can have, you know, take control of our own finances and plan for our futures in a way that works for us. It gives us a little bit more control and much quicker access as well. I do not want to have to wait until I'm 40 to benefit from my ISA. I'd much rather buy the car that I want maybe at 29. Do you see what I mean? Who's like resonating with what I'm saying here? I feel like times are changing, especially right now during lockdown. It's definitely becoming a lot more power to the people, especially with the trading industry has pretty much doubled during this time. So if what I'm saying is resonating with you, maybe you're learning something new today about the banks, put something in the chat box, put some pounds or maybe some question marks, like I'm questioning this right now. Who's with me? Who is with me? Yes, Sandra. Jay, I don't get it either. Quite concerning, but this is why we're learning this skill, okay? This is why we're doing this. So when is the financial market actually open? So you can be trading this from Sunday night through to Friday evening. So it's open 24 hours a day and the market's open Sunday evening. For us, it's like 11 at night, 10, 11 at night on a Sunday. So I wouldn't recommend trading it, but if you want to go in and scalp, like you absolutely can. So Sunday night for us, and then it closes, close of play, New York time on Friday evening. Does that make sense? That's again around 11 o'clock at night for us over here. And so there's plenty of opportunities and strategies that can work for you in order to be accessing that market and engaging in it and profiting from it throughout the whole week. Okay, so this is kind of like the timetable. If you don't have this, maybe take a little screenshot or try and write this down as quickly as you can. So this just shows us these trading sessions. So during the night whilst we are asleep, we have the Sydney and Tokyo session, also known as the Asian session. So it's not a very volatile market, depending on which currency pairs you're trading, purely because, you know, the London and New York markets, everyone's asleep, right? But money's still being traded, moving up and down. So you're going to find a strategy that works for you. If you're a bit of a night owl, like I sometimes can be, you can learn how to make money during the middle of the night too. And around 5 a.m. in the morning, you're going to have the accumulation session, right? The accumulation session where the banks are injecting money into the European markets. So you're going to see the Euro pairs and the Chef pairs, they're going to start moving, and the GBP pairs, at around from 5 a.m. in the morning until 8 a.m., which is then when we have the London daybreak. So the most volatile session of the day. Everyone wants to get a taste of that first hour of the London daybreak session. Even in the US, people stay awake during the night just to get a little taste of that market, of that volatility, right? Really, really great time to trade, especially if you're busy before work and you just want to catch your pips and go for the rest of the day. I can't recommend London daybreak enough. We then also have the New York session, which is in the afternoon for us. I believe it's like 2 or 3 o'clock I believe it's 2. Someone correct me. I'm sure Agaliki knows. You always tell me this and I always forget, but it's because I'm mostly a morning trader. But it's like around the afternoon time for us. So there's still volatility going throughout the day, but markets do tend to start winding down at around 4, 5 o'clock in the evening when the New York session starts to wind down and close in preparation for the Asian session to start again. So you've got this continuous cycle where you can be making money at any time. Okay, when and how is just totally up to you to discover during your education. And that's a really exciting time. Like, no two traders are alike, I promise. You're going to find something that really, really works for you. Okay, so who is actually getting involved in these markets? So what we have, well, I've already mentioned it, the people who are pushing the most money around, right, are the commercial banks. So they sit right at the very top and they control large currency reserves and interest rates, which is why it's really important that we just keep an eye on the news. We have to do our fundamentals analysis because, you know, anytime that Boris Johnson and Trump are, you know, on Twitter or on our TV screens, money's being pushed into different currencies. Okay, so just be aware that they really reflect actual physical international trade and things like that. We then have our MCNs, which are the multi-channel networks. And this is essentially the hedge funds and the fund managers. They buy the pound for the US dollar in really big quantities and then push it back into the US. So they make up about like 15% of the market. And then we have the retail traders, the regular Joes, you and me from our mobile phones. And, you know, even though we make up a tiny, tiny proportion of the market, I think like 1% of the market, they absolutely love taking our money. And you know why? Because the majority of retail traders, you know what they actually call them? The YouTube traders. The people who, you know, don't want to learn how to, you know, trade and invest in the markets properly. They'd rather learn from a few of the same skills being shared over and over again on YouTube. So those retail traders, the banks can see every single one of them. They have software that shows them where people are setting their pending orders, their buy stops and their sell stops, right? And they can see where all the YouTube traders are because they've all been taught the same thing. So as part of IM Academy, we are taught how to trade institutionally so that we do not get wiped out of the market like the rest of the regular Joes. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Hopefully we don't have any YouTube traders on here, because I promise you guys are going to lose a lot of money. So it's great that you know, just do your education the right way once, so that you can then have the skill to be doing this for a very, for the rest of our lives. Like, I know I'm not going to stop trading, because once you learn this skill, no one can take it away from you. It's like cooking or driving a car, right? I promise you, I'm going to be 90 years old and still work in these markets. Okay, so what is actually happening here when we are engaging in the wild world of Forex? So what's happening is you're buying one currency and selling the other. So in the same way that you go on holiday and you exchange your pounds for some dollars or some euros, and you go away, you go shopping and buy food and blah, 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 and then you come back and you exchange your money back to its original currency. You may find that you get more or less than you actually expected. And that's because the value of that currency has fluctuated during that time that you were away. Does that make sense? And anything that's paired with the United States dollar is known as a major currency. So you've got like AUD, USD, USD, JPY, all of those ones. Anything with the US dollar is known as a major. Anything else is known as a minor or a cross pair. So yes, that does include the Great British Pound. That's also known as a cross pair. Okay, so you've got like AUD, JPY, GBP, JPY, Euro, GBP, a beautiful currency pair. So there's loads to choose from. So you're going to find your favorites. And I really recommend getting to know one or two currency pairs really intimately, get to know how they move so that you know actually what, you know what to expect, I suppose, from that pair. And, you know, I prefer to use Euro GBP. I just find it a very reliable currency pair, as well as like GBP, JPY. I like things that move. Whereas we do have some currencies that do tend to consolidate quite a lot, or they're very wicky. GBP CHF, I don't know if anyone's noticed, is incredibly wicky. I hate trading it, so I stay away. Okay, but you're going to find you know, currency pairs that work for your personality, I guess. We then also have our exotics. So quite a few traders who I know are engaging in exotics, which is really, really exciting. So you've got like the Hong Kong dollar, you've got the South African rand, you've got Mexican peso, we've also got like the Hungarian what? the Hungarians, call it the Hungarian, it's HUF. And things like that. And, you know, they're becoming a lot more popular, especially during lockdown. But, you know, definitely if you're interested in some other currencies, then take a look and get to know how they move so that you can just become a real pro at trading that currency pair. Pretty exciting. Okay, and then we've also got our commodities. So if you maybe don't fancy trading a bit of Forex, but you know what, you are interested in gold, you can also be day trading that too. So we've also got oils, gases, metals, company stocks. I like to trade a little bit of DAX, and of course, cryptocurrency. Sounds kind of sexy because it is. So there's definitely going to be something for you to be trading, and you're going to find your own style and your own source when it comes to hitting the markets. Okay, is everyone with me? Throw something in the chat if you are with me. Hopefully I'm not talking too fast. I do tend to be a bit of a speedy Gonzalez, but I want to kind of get through. Rudine is here. Hey girls, so good to see you. Woo, okay, cool. You guys are with me, amazing. Okay, so what you're going to see a lot of during your trading journey are these bad boys, candlesticks. The candlestick charts are what we use to analyze what's happened to the value of money during a particular period of time. So who can tell me some kind of time frames that we look at on these charts? What time frames do we tend to look at? Put it into the chat box. Who's done some of their Forex basics education already? Yep, amazing, Richard. 1 hour and 15 minutes. Monty's here. Hey, 15 and 1. What else is there? What else we got? Sandra's there, 15 minutes. What other time frames do we have that we can look at on those charts? 4 hour, amazing. 4 hour in the daily. Oh yeah, amazing, amazing, yes. So we've got those ones. We've also got like the 1 minute, crazy, the 5 minute. We've got the week, we've got the month, we've got the year. So, and when you're seeing those charts, every single candlestick represents what happens in that time frame. So if you're looking at a daily chart, that candlestick, that what singular candlestick will tell you what's happened to money and how it's moved in the space of 24 hours. In the same aspect, if you're looking at a 1 minute chart, the candlestick will represent what happened in the space of 1 minute. Okay, and the bodies and the wicks are really, really important. So I like to think of these candlesticks as like the language of the market. They are speaking to us and they're trying to tell us things. They're like, hey, we're stuck in this area. No, we're moving again. You better get on this, you know? So how do we actually analyze these? So we have what's known as the wicks, and these are the long skinny areas. Some people may also refer to these as the shadows. So if someone's referring to the shadow of the candle, this is what they mean. They mean the wicks, okay? Just make sure you know all the different terminology so you don't get caught out during a go live session or something. So we have the wicks, and then we also have the bodies. So with a green candle, we know that price has gone up, okay? So when we're looking at the analysis of the body, we know that price has to open at the bottom of the body of the candle and it closes at the top. Okay, so this represents the open and the close. The wicks represent where it also went in that time. So maybe price opened at the bottom, maybe it pulled down a little bit, it then moved to the upside, and then the bears pulled price back down and it closed here. Okay. And for a red candle, for a sell candle, it's the same but the opposite. So price has to open at the top and close at the bottom because we know that price has gone down, right? I think of it as like a step ladder. Price has entered at the top, maybe it pulls up, maybe it comes back down, and then it pulls up a little bit more, and then it closes at the bottom of the candle. Is everyone with me? Does this make sense? If anyone's confused, just let me know. I don't mind going back if anyone needs any help. If everyone's okay, show me the little okay. I love an emoji. Thanks, Charlie. Fine, Charlie's fine. We do have 31 people on this call. Richard's cool. Thanks, Richard. Amazing, amazing. So let's move on. So these candlesticks are moving in a series of waves. This is what characterizes the market. It's a bit over my head. Okay, Dawn, answer me this. Are you taking notes? Are you taking notes? Just pop a little message in there now. So tell me, are you taking notes? Yes. Always. Yes, yes, guys. Everyone's like, yes, I'm taking notes. Yeah, note takers are the money makers. I promise you. There's going to be so much info, and you don't have to understand it all right now. You know, like I can't teach Forex in an hour. You can't retain all the information from 1 hour class. So go over these classes as much as you need. We've got our regulars. I see y'all coming back week after week. And, you know, even I go to Forex basic sessions because there are some things that I miss, I promise you. And like, I'm nearly a year old now in this industry. So just always be taking notes, because we also only remember about like 20% of what we hear. If we write it down, we're more likely to remember more stuff. So amazing. So the market is moving in these series of waves of these candlesticks, and this is how we identify our trends. This is how we know when is best to enter into the market. Okay, so when we're looking at an uptrend, if somebody tells you, oh, we've got a bullish trend here, we know that the market is going in an upwards trajectory. Okay, so it's characterized by these higher highs and higher lows. Okay, try not to get confused. Just think, is it higher than this high? Yes. Is this a low? Yes. But is it higher than this low? Yes. So you know we've got an uptrend here. I actually had to do this myself today because I was struggling to actually identify the trend. The charts were looking a little bit messy, which they can do. And I was like, I don't know what I'm seeing here. So I just had to be like, okay, high. Okay, that's a lower high. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. Fine. Sometimes it just takes a minute. So don't worry if sometimes you find it a little bit difficult to identify. Okay, so higher highs and higher lows. And it's exactly the same for a downtrend, just the opposite. So we've got lower lows and lower highs. Price pulls down and it makes a new lower low. So let's say if price pulled down and it didn't come beyond this low, that's known as a higher low. Does that make sense? So that just helps you to understand whether you're seeing an uptrend, a downtrend, or maybe even some sideways movement, some consolidation, okay, which we don't typically like to trade. So when we say that the market is going in a bullish trajectory, right? We say, some people might say the bulls are in power, you know, or maybe the market is going long. These are all the words that you're going to need to know so that you're just really up to scratch in terms of what the educators are saying. So it tells us that the market is going up. So you know, get ready to buy that currency pair. And what are you seeing here? We have a higher high, a higher low, because this low is higher than this low, and a new higher high. Amazing. Exactly like it says on the tin. And then in the opposite direction, we have a bearish trend, or, you know, the bears are pulling the market down. Don't ask me why it's the bulls and the bears. I really, really don't know. I found it very confusing when I started, but it is what it is. And when we are, maybe your educator is saying to you, we're going to short this currency pair, or the market is going short, or maybe they'll tell you to open a short position. What does that mean? You're getting ready to go in for a sell. Okay, and we're going to be seeing so many of these trends, and it's really important that you're able to understand what's happening here. I always ask myself this: what's happening here? What am I seeing? So even though in this chart screenshot here, I think this is GBP JPY from a few weeks ago, even though I've identified quite a nice bit of bullish momentum here, a nice uptrend, and maybe I thought, oh, I'm going to go in for a buy. But this, remember, is taken on the 15-minute time frame. Okay, you can see here, accumulation session, money was asleep. We then, Asian session, banks were asleep, not much movement going on. We then had the accumulation session, boom, 5 o'clock, 5, 6, 7, 8. What happened? London daybreak, skyrocketed the other way. Can you see that? It's like every single day, the market does the same thing day in, day out. However, had I zoomed out to the 1 hour time frame and taken a look at actually what's going on here, I would have been able to see that we were in a really strong bearish trend, a strong downtrend. So actually going in for a buy may not have been a good idea, which we could see because price was starting to reverse on us. Does that make sense? So anytime you're looking at trends, make sure you're taking a look at the larger time frames, just so that you can get a really clear idea as to how money is moving and why. Okay? Who's with me? We're going to do this now together. I think you're with me. Yes, Nicola, amazing. The bulls fight upwards, the bears fight downwards. I'm guessing everyone's good. Okay, so once Richard's getting it. Amazing, amazing, amazing. I love this. So once you start to get to identify these trends and particular patterns in the market, this is when you can start placing trades and actually doing the thing, right? It gets more exciting when you're actually placing the trades and doing the thing. So you will then use MetaTrader 4. Of course, you guys are new, so please, 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 please use your demo account as much as possible. I know it's really tempting to jump in and just go live and, you know, just try and you'll get it eventually. I'll just use my own money and maybe I'll make something off of it. I promise you won't. I promise. And I jumped in far too early. I did a month on my demo account and I was like, oh, I'm kind of ready. I made 20p today, so I'm probably ready to go live. Absolutely not. So it's going to be tempting, but hold off as much as you can. I would say definitely a month minimum. But if you're really, really confident and you've seen continuous growth, I suppose for like 2, 3, 4 weeks, then go live. Does that make sense? I know everyone's going to kind of want to do their own thing and everyone develops at different rates. I absolutely understand that. But, you know, demo account is there to save us. And also I still use my demo sometimes. If I'm not sure, I'll place that on my demo. It helps me to get rid of that like FOMO feeling because I just want to jump in and take the trade. But if you do that on your demo, it'll help you to kind of manage those feelings. Okay. Oh, thanks, Maribel. Thank you. I love doing these sessions. I feel like I enjoy these sessions more and more every single week. You think I'd get bored of these by now, but I really don't. So that really means a lot. So thank you. And this week, you know, I always say use TradingView as much as you can in order to practice analyzing the charts. It's going to feel very awkward and clunky at first. And half the time, I promise you, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. The more you do it, the easier it's going to become. Your brain is working subconsciously in the background. In the forefront, you might think, I don't know what I'm seeing here, but your brain is making those connections and seeing patterns all the time. So eventually you're going to open up a chart and be like, okay, I know exactly what's going on here, you know? So, oh, don't worry. We've moved on quite a bit, but I have actually recorded this session, so I'll share this with all of the groups, okay? So what we're going to do now is we're going to go on to TradingView and take a look at some charts together. Okay, so let's go. Where are my charts? Hang on, guys. Musical interlude, just bear with me 2 minutes. Oh, here it is. I've got so many screens open on my Mac. You share, okay. Okay, just throw something into the chat box. Can everybody see my screen? Just because I've done this before, when I've done a whole like explanation of charts and everyone's like, this has been really great, Jess, but I don't know what you're talking about because we can't see the screen. Thank you. Okay, cool. Okay, let's go. So what we're looking at here when it comes to our charts, right? Sometimes it can look really, really scary and, you know, we don't know what we're looking at, but, you know, I like to make it super duper simple. Sometimes the best trading happens when you're just using lines and boxes. I love, who's been on my Harmonics Lunch Club sessions? Who here has been with us making money on the Lunch Club every single day for 3 weeks? We have a good time, right? And you guys know I love to throw a fib on it, you know, and because it just makes life so much more simple. We as humans are very good at overcomplicating things, whereas actually the market does the same thing every single day. Oh, Lisa, it was your first one today. You had Agaliki, amazing. Yeah, thanks guys. I actually had a meeting today, so I could not make it, but one of the lovely Trade Creatives girls did a fantastic job today teaching you guys. So, but I'm gonna be back tomorrow. So guys, if you want to learn how I make my money using the harmonic scanner, which all of you have access to, jump on with me at 12 o'clock tomorrow. We start sharp and yeah, Nicola. So, oh, I love how we now have private jokes. This is amazing. Oops, I managed to throw a whole cup of coffee on my laptop during our harmonics session. I think you all saw the fear in my eyes. It was possibly the worst moment ever, but somehow it survived. So I think I've been blessed. But guys, you know what's crazy? When that happened, it was a swamp. My whole laptop was a swamp. I didn't even move or react because I was like, well, it's effed. Do you know what I mean? And in my mind, I was like, oh my God, I'm panicking. My whole life's on here. And also on the other side, I was like, I'll just buy a new one because we know how to trade and it's so simple to make money. Do you know what I mean? Like we are learning the skill basically in order to print money. So long as you know the thing and you practice the skill well, the money's just the byproduct. That ends up just being a result of the thing. By the end of it, it just feels like you're playing a game on your phone. Who kind of gets that? My whole relationship with money is just completely changed because I know how to make it for myself, you know? So in my head, I was like, oh, that's like 2 weeks work. Okay. Can't hear. You can't hear me? Am I just talking? Can anyone hear me? Guys, just let me know. Sarah says she can't hear me. Oh, okay. Okay. So for those of you who can hear me, because you're saying yes, does that resonate with anyone whose relationship to money has also changed? Like, it's good because I think it's very freeing. I feel very liberated. Do you know what I mean? So I used to have like money anxiety a lot. I used to hold on to money. Like I held on to money so much that I ended up being able to afford a house because I'd saved up like 20,000 pounds of saving anxiously, you know? And now since starting with trading, yeah, I feel a lot more liberated, a lot more free. I spend a bit more freely as well. And I feel like the less I care about money, the more comes back. So if you feel that, let that, I don't know, I suppose ease your anxieties a little bit. So the more pressure you put on yourself, like I need to make money today, I need to make X amount today on trading, that may actually put too much pressure on you. You might start doing silly things. So the more robotic you become with your strategy, once you see those confirmations, just make the trade, because the less you care, the more enjoyable it's going to be, I promise you, and the better your results are going to be too. Okay, so let's get down to it. Let's clear all of this. I'm going to clear all my charts here for you. So we're just going to take a look at these. Okay, so who can tell me what trend are we seeing here first and foremost? What trend are we seeing? Who can identify this trend for me? We are on the 1 hour time frame. Amazing. Down. I love when people say that. It's going down, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, so we are seeing a real bearish trend right now. And sometimes it can get a bit confusing because obviously the market is swinging high and it's swinging low. So, you know, it's hard. Sometimes it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing here. So this is where market structure becomes super, super important. Never take market structure analysis for granted because it really, really can be helpful. And trend lines, honestly, guys, the trend is your friend. If in doubt, I just draw a line and I'm like, oh, up, you know? And then sometimes when you see that, we're seeing new sets of lower lows and lower highs. You can see, so we had a high and then it started to make some lower highs, right? Then we saw we had a direction change. We saw a swing to the downside. And then again, if in doubt, put a trend line on it, yeah? Mark it up. And this is, I just practice this day in, day out. Every time I open up a chart, put some lines on it, okay? Never get complacent with your analysis because this is what's gonna help you to see everything better. I promise you, it's going to get easier. And then, simple as that, you can see, okay, it's going down. Here is where it's most likely to see resistance. So now I can figure out a strategy that's gonna work well for me in order to try and make some profit on this movement. Does that kind of make sense? And then from there, you can then use any of the strategies that we've been taught. So someone throw some strategies in there that you guys are using right now. I don't want to do all the talking. What are you guys enjoying trading? Which strategies are you enjoying right now? I don't know who I'm talking to here. Okay, so we've got some price trappers. Who else have we got? We've got harmonics. Hey, hey. Is that it? We just got price trap and scalping. Okay, so scalping, but what strategy, Nicola, are you using to scalp? That's what I'm more interested in. Scalping's like the thing. I want to know how you do the thing. Mostly harmonics. Okay, so you've got mostly harmonics and price trap. Guys, we have so many strategies that we can be using with IM. There are just, oh, 5 wave, woohoo. Amazing, amazing. Pivots, we've got one pivot person. I love pivots. I use it every single day just because it's so beautifully designed. Oh, I just can't get enough of it. Weirdly, I don't use Infinity. I kind of don't like it. I know. I was waiting for so many months for the Infinity tool to come out, and as soon as we got it, I was like, I just much prefer the pivot scanner, and that's because I found my own kind of way of using it that works for me. So you're going to find that, okay? DeLorean, Lisa, how is DeLorean going? I'm very interested. I was on the Zoom call the other day learning about it. I haven't started it, but I've been looking. I've watched the training videos. How are you finding it? Can I put 5 points in the chart, please? Okay, so for Monty, I totally understand why you want to do that now. However, that is a bit more kind of like on the market geometry side of things. And this is Forex basics. So please make sure you guys are completing your 100 to 300 series as a minimum. Once you go on to the 400, you're going to start looking a little bit more at Elliott waves and market geometry. Really, really fun. But that does come a little bit of time. So we're going to keep it super, super simple. Okay, let's look at another chart. Oh, Lisa says Patrick K sessions are good. Okay, thank you. I'll make a note of that. I'll check him out on Go Live after the session. So let's look at GJ. Okay, we've already seen my markup. Hopefully there's one maybe that I haven't marked up. Okay, let me just get rid of this. Okay, so let's say we're on the 15-minute time frame. And we can see, okay, we've got this bearish momentum here. We had a massive impulse to the downside. So this is the institutional move. This is when the banks are injecting or actually selling the money. And now they're having to work really, really hard and bring price back up in order to make their money back. But you can see here when we zoom out to like the 4-hour time frame, and I use the 4-hour to do my back testing, that actually we're in quite a big area here where price has been consolidating and trying to break through. We can see our 1 touch, 2 touch, we're now on our 3rd touch, or even 4th touch, I guess. So that's why price had a pretty big reaction here. So it's really important to identify where price has been before. So yes, we would have drawn our trend line up here, just identified these highs and lows. And also I like to say, guys, please don't marry your trend lines, okay? It's much of a muchness. We have to remember that trend lines are resistance zones, resistance areas. Does that kind of make sense? When I started, I used to be very like pedantic and, oh, it has to be exact. It's not a trend if it, you know, breaks out or doesn't touch it. It's much of a muchness. So just kind of bear that in mind. As long as we're seeing some resistance in that area, yeah, it's kind of okay, you know? So even though we've drawn our upwards channel, it's really important that we're doing our horizontal lines so that we can, you know, back test in time and see where price has been before. So then we go out onto the 4-hour time frame, and then we see, okay, so price kind of came up to that area before. What happened in the past? Ah, price has really reacted to this area before, right? We can see it. Let's zoom in here. Oh, that's the measuring tool. Sorry, guys. So we can really see, wow, look how exact that is, where price is using it as a ceiling. It literally touched it and ricocheted back off, and then used it again as a floor. Trend lines just fascinate me because it works time and time and time again. So this is why we should never take any trend lines for granted, because it really is trying to tell you where price is getting stuck, and it shows you opportunities as to how you can get in as well. So yes, we have these candlesticks, which are telling us, you know, where there is support and resistance, where we are seeing areas where price is rebounding, also known as resistance, right? But what can we also use to analyze these trends? Well, we have our indicators. Now, this is where things can get a bit overwhelming, because I remember the days back in August last year, and I'd look at these and be like, I don't know what I'm seeing here. And now, these make so much sense. And it's, guys, it's going to feel like you've hacked the matrix. Once you get this skill and your brain's made all those connections and you can see the patterns, you're going to look at this chart one day and be like, wow, okay, so I know exactly what I'm doing. You know, that just takes time. So I know it's easier said than done, and I've got quite a bit more time on my side, but you're going to get there, I promise. Give it a few months. It's going to take time, but you will get there. Okay. So a lot of the time we're using these, but I feel like people don't really have a proper understanding as to how these work. So I've decided today that we're going to just break this down for the people in the back. Okay. So they're both, well, okay, let's focus on, let's just focus on these two. First, we have the stochastic and the RSI, okay? And these are both price momentum oscillators, should I say? So they're all oscillators in a sense, but these are used to forecast market trends, but they both kind of, I don't know, do it in different ways, I suppose. So generally speaking, the RSI, which I would usually have above here, the RSI is designed, well, I suppose it's more useful in trending markets, okay? And stochastics are more, they're good for more like sideways or choppy markets, okay? And I use the RSI to see what's going on like a more short-term basis. So if I'm using mostly the RSI on the 15-minute time frame to tell me where the momentum is in money at that time. And then I use the stochastic to tell me or show me what's going to be happening on kind of on a longer term basis. Okay, so the RSI was designed to measure the speed and the magnitude of price movements in order to evaluate, you know, the overbought or the oversold regions, which is what I've marked out here in pink. So this is our kind of consolidation area. And when it comes over or below, then we know it is either overbought or oversold. Now, sometimes, well, actually, sometimes, the majority of the time, we know that price will tend to do a reverse. It kind of has to reverse back into this, I call it the safe zone, right? We have to remember it's the relative strength index. So I like to think of it as price is strong in that direction in that moment of time, okay? So actually, even though we've got prices come up here, actually, no, let's go back. Here we go, here's a really great example. So even though price was in these overbought regions, it didn't actually do a reversal. It continued to go up and up and up and up, right? And actually, I don't mind taking trades when we're in these overbought regions because I know that price is strong in that direction. I don't like placing trades when we are in the pink zone because that tells us we are in a serious consolidation area. What was happening in this area here, if we look up on our candlestick charts, it was waffling, not really doing much movement. And again, this was when the markets were closed, so 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night, right? Does that make sense? So that's how I use the RSI. It shows me relative strength relative to its current time frame. Who is with me? Who gets that? Who's like, yes, this is making total sense now. I think I get it. Very clear. Amazing, amazing. Okay, so the stochastic, it's very, very similar, but it's, you've got to remember now, it's 2 lines, okay, instead of 1, and it reflects the actual value for each session. So each session, each candle is a session, okay? And it's showing us kind of on a longer term basis. So when we say here, the RSI, I have it set to 7 candles. So it shows me how price has moved in the last 7 candles, whereas the RSI looks at the past 14 candles. Does that make sense? So it's showing you over a longer period of time how money is moving and how the strength is changing. And I look for the crosses. So when I see these crosses here, I know whether the buyers or the sellers are increasing in velocity. So the speed at which they are engaging in the market. Does that make sense? So the RSI and stochastic are used for speed indicators. And then our awesome oscillator, my favorite tool, shows us the volume of buyers and sellers coming into the market. So this just looks a little bit different because it's not a line chart. This is in fact a histogram, and you know, it goes red to green, and we also have a 0 line as well. So a little bit different. We don't have a safe zone. We have a 0 line. So let me put that in there so you can kind of see prices moving above and below this 0 line. Okay, and the way that this works is that when a bar is green, so when the next bar goes green, that tells us that the value was higher than the previous bar. So that the candle was actually increasing in value. So even though, let's say we had, oh, this is a nice example. So we had a red candle here. So even though this was red, it was actually the volume of buyers during that time was actually increasing. Is that making sense? So we know that when price is going between this 0 line, we're seeing this crossover, we know that we're going to have some serious momentum to the upside or the downside. So I really use my oscillator as an indication for how we can predict money's going to move in the next hour. I kind of take this by the hour, right? So this one shows me what's happening on the kind of immediate time frame, the 15-minute time frame. This one gives me a longer idea in terms of actually, okay, it wants to come back into this area, but we're going to still see some downwards momentum. It's going to sound like a lot right now, because it is. But the more that you use these, you're going to recognize the patterns again and again and again. And to keep this super duper simple, right, in terms of how I use this, the oscillator, let me try and find a really nice, clear example for you. I use the Twin Peaks idea, okay, otherwise known as divergence. So those of you who are on my harmonics call every single day, what do we look for? The resistance, the divergence, and then the entrance. The divergence really tells us how money is shifting. So let me try and find an example where I would enter, let's say. Derp, 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 derp. Okay, this is quite nice. This is nice. Actually, no, it's not. Give me a second, guys. Musical interlude. Oh, I've got my gaming music on, lol. I'm trying to find a really nice bit of divergence here so I can show you what's happening. Okay, here we go. Yeah, I was right. So I'm going to go with the example that I looked at first. So if I just clear this and I can show you how I'm identifying it, okay? So what I'm looking at here is this uptrend, okay? So price is moving really steadily. We've had breaks and retests. It's been moving really nicely, but you know, we know that price is going to get exhausted at some point and we're going to see pullbacks, okay? So we can use the divergence, we can use the oscillator to show us where, when is it likely to be seeing some divergence. So in this same time frame that I'm looking at up here, I then go down to my oscillator and see what's happened. And what have we seen? Even though the candle bars are moving up, what we're seeing is that the volume of buyers in this market is actually decreasing. Okay, and then what do we see? A really sharp move to the downside. Does that make sense? I actually have an example of this from earlier today. Please don't tell me I deleted it. Oh, it was NZD USF. Oh yeah, it was here. Okay, okay. So guys, I was in, to give you a really good example, I was in a trade today in this currency pair, took a really, really nice move, right? Let's say, for example, let's say I opened it down there and my take profit was there. I'm going to show you a really clear example of what my trade was today. Okay, so I entered this trade first thing in the morning, and actually I definitely opened, it was definitely a bit more like that. There we go, because price was waffling, it came down, and it was in the, I was in drawdown for a little bit today, and then price shot up. So we had this really, really nice movement to the upside. What was happening on our oscillator? Our volume bars were coming up, crossed that zero line, amazing. But then what we had, I noticed that we were having a decrease in the volume bars. I saw that, I looked at my indicators here. I saw that we were in the overbought regions for this area. Okay, so this tells me I was seeing this nosedive. So price was coming over the top and it looked as though it was going to tip into, back down into that zone. So I know, we're going to be seeing a bit of a pullback. That typically doesn't scare me because price, you know, has to go down in order to go up. But what I was also seeing was this downwards exhaustion, right? And this may look slight, this looks a little bit more horizontal, but that to me is red flags, okay? Because that is not going in an upwards direction at all compared to how steep this was. Are you guys seeing that? Is that clear? Is this more clear as an example? So let's say you're in this trade and you'll think, oh yes, I'm really close to my TP. Please take a look at your oscillator or your indicators and see what's happening. If you're seeing price going down like this, the volume bar is going down, you know that price is going to reverse at some point. So what did I do? Luckily, I took my money, I took my profits, and this candle, this green candle, was actually all the way up here. I was like, you know what? I'm happy with that. What did I do, guys? I ran with the bag. I took my profits and I got out of there. And no word of a lie, in the next 10 minutes, price had shot down. And then I was like, okay, great. So it's just having its pullback. Maybe I could like re-enter. A couple of hours later, I actually went back and revisited this trade. What happened? Would have been stopped out, would have lost all of that. All those hours I had to wait, being patient, right? Would have lost it. So this is why I think, you know, don't be greedy. We don't need to wait those extra 2 pips. We don't need it, okay? If you're happy with the price that you see when you open your phone, take the bag and go. Get that daily percentage increase, because that is what's going to grow your account, okay? And I know we like to say, we like to practice patience. So I know that Kofi says, you know, don't take your profits early. And I totally understand because, you know, we're not impatient traders, right? We are very patient. However, with our informed knowledge and our understanding of how these indicators work, we should be able to recognize when actually we could be jeopardizing our current profits. Does that make sense? Who's with me on that? Who gets what I'm saying here? This is really important as well for the harmonics trading as well. So sometimes you may wait, maybe we are in some drawdown and then it comes up, and then, you know, sometimes I'll just take my profits and go because I'm looking at those indicators and I'm like, she's going to move on us, you know? So we never know what the market is going to do, ever. We can't know. We're not mind readers, right? The market can do whatever it wants. It is always right. It doesn't care about us or our feelings. We can only be prepared for every possible outcome. So it's either going to go up or it's going to go down. So long as we're prepared either way and we use our informed knowledge to make the best decisions for us, we're going to be absolutely fine. Okay? And I don't know, I feel like I'm saying this from a place of love because I love the markets. She's great. She's so much fun. She's keeping us on our toes, you know? We have to keep our eye on her because, you know, sometimes she likes to do some crazy things. But so long as we understand the volatility of the market and that, you know, it can go wherever it wants, we're going to become better traders, okay? And even in my 10 months in, right, I'm still getting better every single day. I'm still always in a state of learning. So don't feel that you feel behind or you're not sure, because that just comes with time. And we've never mastered it. We're always students to the market. Does that make sense? It's making sense. I haven't seen OC before. Awesome oscillator. Okay, but thanks for sharing. Yeah, the oscillator is a fantastic tool. I use it every single day. I kind of stopped using the MACD. I don't know why, because I've been using the MACD ever since I started. I just prefer, I'm very visual. I like colors. So guys, it is 4 minutes to 9. We still have 31 people on the chat. So that is amazing. Thank you so much for joining me. Does anybody have any questions? This is where I would usually do my hotline bling, but a lot of people don't really like to unmute their mics. But let me know if anyone has any questions, because I'm more than happy to answer them now. Let me know. Have you guys enjoyed this session? Put something in the, put a 7 in the chat box. 777 for, I don't know, isn't that the heavenly number, sevens? Oh, thank you. Cool. Okay. Just because I'm glad that, you know, I haven't put anyone to sleep. I know it's a lot of me talking here. Does anybody have any questions? I think everyone seems to be okay. How long did it take me to learn how to trade? Forever. It's not a quick thing, okay? If you want to get good at trading now, put in the time. I promise you, like, I was 3 months in, I can remember it, I was like taking trades in my car and I was like, I have a clue what I'm doing. I'm being so honest with you guys. I still didn't really get it and I was frustrated. And you know what, in my head, I was like, trading doesn't work, you know? But I wanted it so badly. I was going to keep doing it. I wasn't going to stop, even though in my head I was like, oh, this just doesn't work. You know, we've all been there. It took me time. And you know what? I became a better trader when I cared less. when I just saw my confirmations and I took the trade, you know? And then eventually it does click. You're going to have a day where you're like, I kind of know what I'm doing here, you know? It just comes with time. I promise you're going to feel a lot of frustration, a lot of anger. The number I've cried on the phone, the number of times I've cried to Kofi on the phone, I couldn't count. So you're going to feel all the emotions. Learning how to trade, this is going to be the ride of your life, guys. Embrace every moment. You're going to feel all the emotions, okay? Only the strong are going to get through this. I'm talking to, if you are one of those people who feel like you're probably going to quit, just quit now. I'm being totally, totally serious with you. I don't want to say if you're not enjoying it, because you know you're going to learn to love it. I'm smiling all the time. If you feel like you're going to quit at some point, just quit now. Save yourself the money, the time, and the effort, and maybe put it into something that's maybe going to give you a bit more enjoyment in life. Yeah. Trading is not for the weak. Trading is not for the wishy-washy. I'm going to put it out there because you're going to feel down sometimes, a lot of the time in my case, right? And I always say it's not, well, our profits build our accounts. Our losses build our character. If you've come into this industry expecting win after win after win, you're going to be very disappointed, okay? Your consistent wins come with time and practice. And you know what's crazy? Today, I've had a really great week. So I know you don't actually care because obviously you might not be seeing that in your account. So I don't really share my trading results ever because it's personal. So don't, also if somebody asks you, how much money have you made? Don't feel pressured to show them your account or your trades, because you would never show somebody your bank balance. Okay, so just have some respect and some boundaries for your money, right? So try not to let people shame you for getting involved in this industry. Okay, I promise you they're just jealous. And actually I used to have consistent reds all the time. I used to have more reds than I did blues, and I thought today, I was like, you know what, I'm actually going to take a look at my results today. Even though I do all my charts and I see, yes, I'm growing, like I've been consistently growing now for like 9 months, I guess. But this week I was like, oh snap, I've only had one stop loss. That's crazy. You know, I never thought I would be this good. I don't want to be like, I'm a great trader, but it comes with time. I never thought that I would get this good. And I saw everyone around me. I saw all the educators and everyone posting their results in the groups. And I was like, I'm never going to get there. But I promise you guys, it does. If you can make it through your first year, you are going to be profitable, I promise. And you will have this skill for the rest of your life. Kids, car, paid for. It's done. You can do your hobby, your skill. You can play golf for the rest of your life and not even care, because you'll still be able to pay your taxes, because trading, you know? I think somebody asked me what time is the best day to trade. The best time that you want. Don't force a London daybreak session if you are not a morning person, because I promise you're going to be angry, pissed off, and you're probably going to make some silly choices. If you are a night owl, learn how to scalp during the nighttime. There's going to be strategies for you, okay? Maybe you're going to be a bit of a binary trader. I am. I love it, you know? I'm also a morning person, so I'll trade into the night and I'll wake up at 5, 6 in the morning and still be trading. If you've got an hour's lunch break and you want to learn how to make some money in that hour, there's a strategy for you. The more you use Go Live and jump onto those sessions, you're going to find the teacher that's right for you, and you get to grow alongside that teacher. Do you know how amazing that is? Manny Quinones helped me to clear my credit card debt. He doesn't even know it. When I was a bad trader, I didn't know what I was doing. I was still trading every day when he was on with Manny Quinones, and with his trades, I cleared my credit card debt. You can do that too. It's just basic timekeeping. Anyone who says, I'm not finding the time for this, I don't have the time for this, you are literally choosing to not have the time to change your current situation or your future. If you are in debt for whatever reason, you need to find the time to sort that out. Half an hour a day. We get 24 hours a day, right? 9 hours of that we're working. An hour there, an hour back, we're traveling. So what's that, 11 hours? We've still got, oh my God, maths. What's 24 take away 11? Oh my God, 10 hours? I don't know. maybe, okay, so that's X amount of hours you've then still got in the day. Maybe you spend an hour cooking, an hour with the kids. So you still got 8 hours. Okay, 6 hours you sleep. Use those 2 hours, get off Netflix, get on to Go Live, or learn how to scalp in 20 minutes. Guys, I do 20-minute scalping sessions every day. 20 minutes. I make my hourly salary in 1 minute. If you can learn how to scalp, and in one 20-minute session, you can make £100, listen, this might be a lot. I'm going to stop there because I love talking about it. I'm getting all hot and bothered because it's amazing. And if you want any more help, let me help you. Let me help you. Let's come next week. Okay, here's class next week. This is what we're going to do. We're going to create your schedule for you. We're going to talk strategies that can work for your timetable. I want you guys to come prepared with times that you want to be trading so I can tell you what strategy to use, which educators should you watch. Does that sound like a good idea? Let's create your timetable together. I'm diversifying my Forex basics training. Every person who's on this call now, I want to see you guys. There are 28 people still here. I want to see you guys on the call next week. Pens, paper, Excel spreadsheets, whatever it is that you're going to need. Let's create your timetable around your routine so that you can stay committed. I don't want anyone dropping off and saying they don't have time, okay? At least do a little bit a day because that's what's going to get you to hit your goals, okay? I say it because I care, guys, and I love you. So I'm going to stop now. I'm pretty sure, is there a Zoom call on now? I'm pretty sure there is. Just love being on the Zoom, guys. Okay, let's, oh, Des is on. Okay, thanks, guys. Let's wrap it up. This feels more like a therapy session than like training. So if you guys want more of me, jump on to Harmonics tomorrow at 12 p.m. We're going to be doing the Harmonics session, Harmonics scanner together. Let's catch some last minute pips before the end of the day. The music's going to be on at 12 or like 2 minutes to 12, okay? And we'll just jump in. I'll do a little bit of walkie-talkie and try and talk you through things. And then we'll just make some pips, guys. Let's make some pips tomorrow. Let's get paid. Friday's payday. Let's go. Hi, Agaliki. So good to see you. Well done, Agaliki, as well for taking Harmonics today. Whoop, whoop. First class that you've done. I'm very excited to see the more that you do. Agaliki loves trading with Lee Allen on Go Live. So if you haven't checked out Lee Allen, please do. She's fantastic. We need more lady traders on the IM platform. So yeah, really great. Check out Go Live, please, guys, because you're paying for it. Okay. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Okay, I will see you 12 p.m. tomorrow. Bring coffee. I don't know, bring booze. It's Friday. Why not? Okay, and I will see you on the Zoom or probably on a WhatsApp group somewhere out there on the internet. Bye, guys.